don't actually have to wait for this because when you'll see it up at the top. And X out because if not, you potentially get the,
I didn't.
if you've ever gotten the audio feedback.
Yes, me and Mary.
You don't want to be near the microphone. Here, do you want to switch? I'll switch with you.
Doesn't matter, she's leaving.
Four. Why? Does it even matter?
Only matters on my final paycheck. Right, I'm gonna call the Civil Service Commission meeting to order for May 2nd, 2023. In attendance is myself, Gail Selden, Eileen Bisson, I like to say it the French way.
Okay.
And Dennis Roden as commissioners. Our secretary is Tracy Friedman. Timothy Borchardt is representing the police department, and Samantha Johnson is our legal expertise. First load of business is to approve the minutes from last meeting.
So moved.
And I second.
All right, all in favor?
I.
Right.
All right. Passes. Moving on to new business, we have the cancellation of eligibility for can we do them all together? Okay, for Colby Charbonnet, Shelby Schneids, and Sean Benson.
I move that these three individuals be disqualified.
Okay, is there a second?
I second it.
Right, any discussion? All right, all in favor, please say aye.
I.
All right, second set of business is the certification of the court compliance officer eligibility list.
Okay.
Is there a motion to approve?
The motion is approved to approve.
Okay. Any discussion?
I'll hold you demographics. I do know that it's 1 female, 3 male. The females black.
Hey, any more discussion?
How many babies?
1. It's been open for some time now. So
Right. All those in favor?
I.
All right. Motion carries. All right, Tracy, your turn.
okay. So take just a couple of minutes to slide through this. So just updates. So one is on the first one's the crime analyst position update. The update is that we now have someone in that role. She actually started yesterday. So that position is filled. The next update is sergeant's exam process. We have 6 candidates in the sergeant's exam process. They will be doing the written test tomorrow. Yep, tomorrow at the PD. So that's the update on that process. Lieutenant's eligibility list, the update on that is I wasn't sure if I don't think I reported out on this one last month, but the lieutenant's eligibility list was updated. It was given an extension, so not updated. We got a 1-year extension on the list. And there are still 3 names on that list. So we're just going to roll forward with that one a little bit longer versus starting a new lieutenant's process.
There's no vacancy expected.
No.
Not that announced. Yeah. We critical. Yeah.
Okay, entry level police officer process update. So we had quite a few candidates that actually applied for our written exam. 32 applied. However, once we actually proctored the exam on 4/25, there were only 13 candidates that showed up. Wow. So our numbers are getting really, really low. And out of those 13 candidates, 2 of them failed the PAT and 4 failed the written, which means we're only rolling forward with 7 of those candidates to go to the written and, or not the written, the oral, correct, to the oral board, and their oral board is set to take place Monday, May 15th. Only 7 candidates, so who knows what we'll end up with after the oral board and then still the backgrounding process. So I think we're losing them faster than we can bring them on board. So that's where we're at with our entry level process. With our lateral process, we do have 5, yes.
For the entry level,
Mhm.
are there still people left on the list of?
Yeah.
Original list?
Yep, and I brought that just to talk in your reading.
So we are through. We have, so Jonathan Harper is ready to, he just did a psych. He has his chief's interview today, back at 11. So hopefully if everything goes well, we'll be giving him a final offer by the end of this visit next week.
Yeah, yep.
He's number 5 on the
That's
list.
5, yeah. So number 1 actually has been, and I'll, he also has the information on number 1. He voluntarily withdrew. He took a, or maybe he, I don't know. I have to look at my notes. Yeah, he either withdrew or he just non-responsive, but I think he withdrew. Thomas Sun is still, he's in his background. Matthew Rios is in his background. Same with Robert Carlin and Kenyatta Blackshear. They're all in their backgrounds.
That leaves what, 5 that's still on the list?
Yeah, 1, you take
From
off
13.
Jonathan, you take 1, 2, 3,
4 from 13. So. Any more questions about entry? No, okay, so you're welcome. With the lateral level process, we have 5 candidates that we're looking at. We have invited them to an oral board. Oh, I thought you were going to say something.
Nope.
We
Go
have
ahead.
5 candidates that we invited to the oral board that is set for May 12th. I'm a little concerned because of those 5, only 2 have responded and the invite went out to them. I want to say at least 3-4 days ago. And so eventually either me or Tim will probably give them a call to see, are they still interested and go on that direction. So that's where we're at with our lateral pool. And if no questions about those processes, we can move to the demographic questions.
I don't have any questions about the process, but how many vacancies?
So I think currently we're down 7.
7.
We still have the overhire of 10. So we're not getting, I mean, with the numbers we're getting, we won't even touch the 10. Without getting filled 7. So we do have 1, maybe 3 or 4 more officers that are going to be. So
Yeah.
we're exploring new ways of doing things. So hopefully it gets more kind. It's amazing. I mean, I come from
It
the
is
era
amazing.
of when I applied here back in 04. They capped it at like 175 or something. So it's nuts.
You,
Yeah.
we would look at a list like once every 3 months. Now it's do it every meeting.
Mhm.
It's nuts. That's crazy.
And with that expiration, of course, if we change the process, we'll bring that before the commission.
Yeah.
Because we are looking at other ways to get the numbers up. I've been keeping data. And so it looks like we're in the low 50s of remaining candidates, if that makes sense.
Once they apply to the end.
Correct, I'm looking at, from application to hire is what I'm tracking right now. And it's very low.
And what do you think is the biggest area where they drop out? Is there one? I mean, it just seems like, not even showing up to the first test. But then I don't understand the people that show up to those first tests and then miss the oral. And that happens all the time.
I don't get it. I just don't understand, yeah.
And part of me thinks it might be our process, if we really look at it, it's long.
It is.
And it's asking someone to stay engaged with us for 3-4 months. To me, that is, if you really want to become an officer, you're not just gonna have your eggs in Lakewood's basket.
Yeah,
I see multiple places.
That's a long time.
It's a long time.
it's very competitive out there right now for departments that are hiring. Everybody is hiring. And what happens is, I mean, like I said, they're applying at multiple agencies and the good candidates. I mean, Tacoma, Pierce County, I mean, obviously the other big area agencies up north, they all have full-time background people. That's all they do. Background hiring, recruiting, that's all they do. We don't have that. We had it, then Sergeant Curtis retired and then Detective Deere went back to special operations. So that was just me. And part-time officers that I help out.
It seems like it's almost rare though, we're really looking at this process to see, because I get the competitiveness, but it's like, what are we gonna do to, make us as competitive?
Yeah,
You know
so
what I mean? It seems like- Yeah, times.
yeah, we're looking at a full-time recruiter position. So that's open right now. So we'll see if anybody applies for it. It's it'd be a great opportunity for something. These hours.
Position,
Do you have to be an officer?
it's gonna be promotional opportunity or?
No, it's just an extra, not an extra, it's maybe a full-time job, that it's a short-term assignment. I've got a couple of people that are interested that will be really good at it. So
Good.
so that will help, I think.
Couple of people within the department who's interested.
Yeah.
What would
You
they
can also intern.
Be announced an internal, yeah. The job would be pretty much going out and going to job fairs, hitting up the colleges, even doing high school presentations, developing a recruiting website. We're gonna do a bunch of different things. That's their job.
Will they help with the back end of this stuff?
So they won't, so as far as like the background investigations, if needed, they could step in and help that, yeah. So it's not, we put it in the announcement, but that we don't want them to be focused on doing that. Their main job would be recruiting. If we need them to do a background, you can do a background. A lot of it is just sending stuff out and waiting for it back. So I mean, eventually they can do that. But we do have a lot of officers that have gone through the course, background investigations course. So we just assign them, but it's an additional duty for them. So they have their other job. They have to, that's primary, secondary stuff.
A recruiter could help to do some like hand holding for these folks that are on the
Sure.
list. and
Keep them engaged.
sure
Yep.
that you know.
Absolutely. Develop relationships is huge. Mr. Harper, the one that hopefully will do it, get a final offer out to him after everything. He looks good on everything. He only applied with us. He wanted to work for us. He did a lot of research. He called people and talked to different people in the profession, not in Lakewood, and we were highly recommended. So he pretty much knew where he wanted to go. So, and I've been engaged with him from the beginning, so that works out.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, developing the relationships, getting out there, meeting people, and then getting their contact information from forums that hopefully people, I mean, a lot of people with privacy issues now don't like to give their personal contact information at job fairs. I mean, it's kind of defeating the purpose because you're looking for a job. But hopefully we can do different things with our website where people can put their information in. It's not sort of recruiter, they can contact them and do some other things like that. So
And this used to be a full-time job. This recruitment.
we've never had a recruiter ever. Yeah.
Was it an additional duty within professional standards?
So we've been fortunate enough, up until the last, I guess, 2 or 3 years, we've never had to really go out and find people for our department. We have such a great reputation within the community and within the law enforcement community that most people just wanted to come and work for us. And so we never really had to go out and find people. Left, and for whatever reason, it's small. Obviously, the candidate pool is smaller, and then it's more competitive now because they're retiring. So, a lot of different variables that go into that, new laws and stuff. Is what it is. So we just got to figure out new ways of doing things, and that's why this position came about. Is because we got to look at identifying and doing things. Our candidate pool is dwindling. Every year that every time that I've been involved, our candidate numbers have dropped every single year. Every single test. So we test quarterly. So yeah.
And I know one time you mentioned too, that it's Tacoma, their hiring bonus.
That's the other thing, yeah.
Laterals is a lot more significant than ours, and then we don't have an entry bonus.
Yeah, so they, like Tacoma and Pierce County, they have a pretty substantial signing bonus, hiring bonus, I guess. We don't have one for entry level. We have one for laterals, but it becomes nowhere near what they're offering at. I don't know if that's going to change. That's up to the command staff. So, and the city manager, obviously.
Yeah. I did.
Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, that may be an option, but I know that Chief Zara was not a fan of that because he doesn't want somebody to come here driven solely on money. He wants somebody that wants to come here because they want to come.
Yeah.
And I think Chief's going to probably be in the same boat, but I don't know well enough yet. To figure out where his mindset is. So
You had retention.
we gave a retention allowance within a year ago and a half,
Yeah.
somewhere around there.
Uh-huh.
So most officers they had to do a 3-year commitment with that. So once they took that retention bonus, you had to stay for 3 years. So that 3 years, we're probably right in the middle of that 3 years.
At least the 1 year of it.
Yeah. So, and I think I can't, it's really hard to say because a lot of people aren't very open about when they're retiring and all that stuff. So it's really hard to tell when people actually, you hear rumors, but you just never know until they actually say retiring state. I don't know of a lot that are going to be retiring in the next year or two. And they changed some things with our retirement where you can get, if you stay longer, if you stay to that 25 years, you actually get a higher percentage. So a lot of guys and gals are just trying to stay at least that 25-year mark. So, I think that helped maybe with some of their plans. Some of the officers that were planning to retire changed their date, push their dates out a little bit. But we're trying anything. We're open to ideas, and I know the command staff talks about it frequently in their meetings. We're just going to try to try different things and see what sticks.
I remember years ago, remember John had this plan about going out in Dallas and other places to look for officers. And the money didn't come to fruition. You remember that?
Yeah, that's been tried and it just,
Chief Humphrey.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we don't really know all the details about what the budget is going to look like for the recruiter. So we don't really know. We'd like for that person to get out at least regionally. Even on the West Coast, I think. Trying to draw people from the East Coast to the West Coast is, I think it's really difficult. Funny thing is I was talking to somebody and they're like, "Hey, have you put an ad in on Police One before?" I'm like, "Oh no." So I did it just to see what happened. And that's one of the lateral applicants. He's coming from Florida because he saw the ad on Police One. Got one. So, see how he is.
On the virtual oral board.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Regular.
Yeah.
Monday.
Yeah.
Is that a possibility? Because that's anything in the rules that prohibits it. So
We can do it.
We did it one time during COVID. We did.
good to hear it.
Yeah, so we've done that before. We had to do it at the city council chambers in the room there. They brought in a big TV. Oh, no. But they have one here.
Yeah. And this is where we know.
Oh, you know what? I think we had to be police space. It was like,
Oh, this is.
Yeah.
6 feet.
All the rules, all the rules.
So that's how we got him. Good to know. The Florida candidate to know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that, again, that would be the recruiter's responsibility to go out and try to find different little websites and stuff they can put an ad on. And most of the ones, like police one was free, just threw it on there. Now granted, theirs is, if one agency puts one on and you're at the top of the list and then the next one, and then you just get bounced down. So you kind of gotta stick with it, keep putting it on there. They'll post it for, 60 or 90. Any websites that person can find.
Yeah.
But I think getting out there and actually exposing people to our department, showing the potential candidates what we have to offer, I think would be, it'll at least boost our, I'm hoping it'll at least boost our.
Last is the police department workforce demographics. You've had it for about a week now. Any questions I can answer about it? Otherwise, there's the report.
Comment of had. Looks like there is a promotion of
Is the what?
female, or white female to sergeant. Asian male to sergeant. Hispanic male to detective. That's pretty substantial progress in terms of hiring that. Hopefully that soon, but I can just.
And no questions. Yeah. So that's my report.
all right. Well, is there anything else for the good of the order? And we can adjourn the meeting today.
Okay.
The end. I just said that with the wrong intonation and punctuation of the. I like had it a hyphen. We can adjourn the meeting.
Yeah.
We're out of here.
Can you
Good
sign?
job.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, everybody.
Oh.
Nothing went off the rails. I'll certify that.